Hi there, folks. I ended up wanting something sweet. So guess what? I decided to fix me some oatmeal raisin nut cookies. So I thought I'd bring you along with me. So let's get busy. First we need 1 cup shortening. And I think I used all my measuring cups. Here, I know I'll put my sugar in there. That was 1/2 cup of sugar. I need 1/2 cup of shortening. So I'm just going to measure this right in here. There we go. It drips out a while, don't it? I just gave little buddy something to eat. I am not going back to the door. We need 1 egg. We need 1/2 cup of white sugar. We need 1 cup of firmly packed brown sugar. I don't want to put that in there yet. We need 1/2 cup of water. If you don't give him exactly what he wants, he keeps scratching at the door till you give him something else. I just gave him something. He needs to eat it. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. One teaspoon of, I should have put that in there first. Because I've got to clean this out because I know the cinnamon will stick to that oil and it will never go in the bowl. I need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon. Now, let's see. We are going to stir that up, mix it up real good. That's all of our liquid ingredients. Of course, it's, you know, our liquid and our sugars and stuff like that. Preheat your oven to 350 while you're doing this. Cinnamon has a tendency to want to clump up on itself. But my cookie jar got empty and I needed to fill it up. And this is a excuse me. This is a recipe out of my 50-year-old Betty Crocker cookbook. And this is my old standby oatmeal cookie recipe. We're going to put in a cup of flour. Now you can, if you use all-purpose flour, don't forget to add your soda and your baking powder and your salt. This is self-rising, so I'm not going to have to do that. I'm going to put in a cup of raisins. Where's my raisins? Sticking together. That's about a cup. And I've got walnuts here. And instead of taking them and putting them in a chopper or anything, what I did, I left them in the bag. And I'm just taking a jar or anything and just kind of hit on it like that, and it breaks them up good enough. Already dirty and enough stuff in the kitchen. But it calls for 1 cup. This is all I've got, so this is what I'm going to put in there. And it's about a cup. Pretty close to it. Like I said, it's not rocket science. You don't have to be exact. Let's see what else now. Now we need our 3 cups of oats. And I've just got Quaker Quick Cook oats. And this is a 2-cup measuring. So there's 2 cups. I need 1 more cup. There's 3 cups in there. Yeah, I got me a sweet tooth. My cookie jar is empty. So I decided I'd make me some cookies. And I don't like to use the mixer on this because it makes the mixer overheat, because these, you know, I'm leaving the oats whole. I'm not going to grind them up. But if you'll mix all of your liquids and your, your sugars, all your ingredients first, except for your flour, your nuts, and your raisins, you put those in at the last. And it calls for cloves, but I never like to put cloves in my oatmeal cookies. I don't know why, I just never have liked to do that. They would probably mix together better if it was, if they were ground up. But you know, you're not supposed to really grind your oats up. If you're making oatmeal cookies, you're supposed to leave them whole. It's hard to mix, no doubt about it, but that's why it's so important to mix your sugars, your water, your oil, and all that stuff first. And then you put your raisins and your nuts and your oats and your flour in there last. That way you don't have to worry about mixing up that sugar because it's already mixed up in your vanilla and all that other stuff. I said one of these days I was going to make some really good peanut butter cookies. Yeah, and I have to use a wooden spatula to do this because this stuff is so thick. It's hard to get it mixed if you don't. Or a good strong metal spoon, big one. There's a lot of other cookie recipes that I love. The only thing is you got to put them in the refrigerator. You got to chill them for an hour or chill them overnight or something like that. And I mean, I might do that eventually, but I just didn't feel like waiting a half hour to an hour to get my cookies done. Now, I'm simply going to put them on this cookie sheet. I've got lined with parchment paper. And I'm going to put about a spoonful out there at a time, teaspoonful. This is probably the last thing I need to cook. Because I love oatmeal cookies and I'm going to be eating them. But if you try to get them to about 1 rounded teaspoon for each cookie, you'll have them pretty much the same size. Might have to shape them up a little bit. Some of them go in there a little bit wonky. But they'll kind of melt down too. Move these out of the way. And sometimes I have to fill my pans up more than one time, so. Because it makes, this recipe is supposed to make about 5 dozen cookies. That is if you don't put them too big. Sometimes I've been known to make mine a little bit big. So I don't get 5 dozen cookies. I get a little bit less, but my cookies are bigger. So you see, that's only about half, and I've got 6, 12, 13, 15 in that pan. And I've got 6, 15 in the other pan. So I've got 30 cookies in my pans already, and that's only half. Now you're going to bake them for, I think it's 12 to 15 minutes. And you can see my dilemma. I've got that much more in here. So, I've got to cook. I'm sorry. I keep burping and all kind of stuff. And I don't mean to do that. But, I've got to cook the first batch because I don't want to put them on the bottom shelf. It gets too hot. It'll burn the bottom of them. They're on the top shelf, but it's about middle way the oven. So I'm going to leave them in there for 12 to 15 minutes. I'll take them out, and then I'll get them off of that sheet so I can put the rest of them in there and bake them as well. And I will bring you back. Well, it's time to check our cookies. When you touch them, they're not supposed to leave an indent in the top. Woo! They're hot. But I think they need to go back for a couple of minutes. So I'm probably going to be cooking mine for 15 minutes. It says 12 to 15, so it's going to be a good 15 minutes. This brings back memories for when my mom used to... If we got cookies, my mom baked them. If my mom didn't have the stuff to bake cookies, we didn't get any. It was just that simple. If we got donuts, my mom cooked them. We didn't have a bakery or store close in my little hometown to buy anything like that. The closest store was a Piggly Wiggly, and it was 15 miles away. My mom she didn't drive because she was from New York. It was years later before she ever learned to drive. But yeah, if we got anything at all, it was cooked in our kitchen. My mom cooked it. We didn't have a drive-through at McDonald's to pick up a burger. You fried them in your frying pan in your kitchen. Or you didn't get a hamburger. But I'm not complaining. We had good food. Homemade, home-cooked food. My mother's donuts were the best. Oh my God. You think you got them right off the bakery shelf when they come out of the grease. They were still hot. Those things were so good. And she'd make all kinds. She'd have glazed donuts, powdered sugar donuts. She'd have jelly-filled donuts, cream puff donuts. And they were the best, y'all. Man, I wish I had a plate of her donuts right now. I forgot to unplug my phone. Yeah, I think they're about done. Because if when you push them and they go down just a little bit, but they don't leave a fingerprint indent, they should be done. And see, they're not much bigger than the spoonful we put in there. They did rise a little bit. But that's the way they're supposed to do. But you're supposed to take them off of the hot pan immediately. And when they cool, you're supposed to store them in a airtight container if you have one. Whoops. Put this over here and let it be cooling off a little bit. I'm going to get the other pan of them out. Those are going to be something good. Let me check these. I don't have a cookie rack big enough to cool these on, so they're going to have to go in this plate. And they're staggered, so they got airflow underneath them. So they should be okay that way. But you know, the cookies you get in the store are not very big either. I mean, you can make them, like I said, as big as you want. Take that pan over there and let it cool while I go ahead and put some more in the pan. I think usually I always would fix them by the tablespoon. So mine would come out just a little bit bigger. Well, like I said, you know, you can make them as big or as small as you want. They're your cookies. That's too much. So I'm not quite getting no 5 dozen, but I don't want to fix no little cookies smaller than what I'm already doing. So we got 30, 6, 12, that's 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. We got 51 cookies. Definitely not 5 dozen. But y'all, I'm going to let these cool. And then I'm going to store them in a good airtight container. But I think I'm going to put them in my cookie jar. Usually I put them in an airtight container, but I think I'll have enough, maybe with some left over, to fill my cookie jar. And this is not quite cool yet, but got to break it open. Ooh, just dropped the nut. Look at that. Don't that look good? Let me bring the... Don't they look good? Oatmeal raisin nut cookies. Mmm. They're crunchy and they're good. Mmm. Just like Mama made. Just like Mama made. I'm going to let those cook and I'll get them out and we'll come back. Well, we got our cookies, y'all. Don't they look good? Oh my God, don't they look good? They look good to me. So I'm going to let these cool and I'm going to eat me some oatmeal cookies, y'all. Try them. I think you'll like them. They look so good and they smell wonderful, y'all. They smell so good. Try them.